Gibson's Berlin March. Now back to the hooligans.
Also flew all the way through World War II, then into Korea, and then right up until the football war, the soccer war in 1960.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely staggering career. I think the only thing that lasted longer than it was the Mustang. Of course, the Corsair famed for having this very, very distinctive bent wing. And the reason for that bent wing was actually to enable the legs to be short and still generate propellant. Still rather enjoyed the propellant to get the full performance out of the R2800 installed in the front. But it made it look space age when it turned up. To be honest, it doesn't try to they got in it. It was brilliant.
Japanese pilots that went against it had similar thoughts.
Yeah, wouldn't have known what it was to start with, and they probably wouldn't have known too much after that, I would suggest.
Yeah, just as an aside, the Corsairs caught us out a little bit. They played the Berlin March a bit late.
And I must say, they really got these round up today. We've got Rolf Meehan at the front there, a very experienced Norwegian fast jet pilot of many things, particularly the F5, loads of F5 to make it clear that I do. You must get down to Leferto later, it's a real experience.
But I can't see it. You watch this now, this will be something like you've not seen, that's for sure. Unfortunately, we can't see it from it. Every drop of weight out of it we possibly can, but retain all the horsepower. That's what you get.
Every little stringer has got a gusset weight on it. Every one. I've never seen an aeroplane built like that.
No, it's very strong. They have these amazing. Initially, they were supposed to be break-off wingtips. So when you pulled 7.5 G, so you didn't break it, the wingtip would snap off. But that didn't work anymore. So they ended up, as I understand it, making them explosively come off, which I would imagine was equally exciting. Also didn't work very well. What they eventually find is they were pilot. And then just tell the pilots they can't pull more than 7.5 G. So that would save the design office a few thousand quid, wouldn't it?
Explosive bolts. What could possibly go wrong?
Literally a little pocket rocket with the tail just dragging along the ground the whole time. I mean, the quest for weight saving, you take every other ground aeroplane half an hour. Well, I say, certainly the Hellcat hydraulic folding wings, but this is literally folding with a broom handle fundamentally. Mechanically released them. It's got a little angled hole in the bottom of the wing, and you have to shove a bit of bar in it, just fold it by hand. It's phenomenal. It's like just energy throughout this display, I would say. And it's not easy, you know, Pete makes it look effortless. But it is definitely not as easy as he's making it look.
And what about these controlling inputs? How much physicality is there on the stick on these big warbirds?
I've not, needless to say, as I've been complaining about, I've not flown a American, but I would imagine it's probably somewhat lighter than its earlier counterparts. All American aeroplanes tend to be slightly heavier on the controls, in my experience, than British ones. Things like the Sea Fury is very comparable, and we're going to see a Sea Fury flying later, doing a solo, as well. So we'll really get to compare and contrast the performance levels. And this just, as I've said 100 times over, this is just a brilliant display of what this aeroplane's really capable of. But the fact that he's able to just keep going up through the vertical like this and keep it fundamentally inside the airfield boundary is testament not only to Pete's flying ability, but also to what the aircraft's capable of. Most of these aeroplanes would be well tuckered out after going through the vertical a few times, and you would have to at some point have some sort of large climbing wing over to keep doing this.
Appreciating it. And indeed, the B-25. It's too easy to focus on the big heavies. The B-25s and 26s really came into their own.
Certainly hang like a fire. It's made famous by the Jimmy Doolittle raid on Tokyo. Basically in response to the 50 calibers.
I mean, look at that. How good is that? What a sight. They're all 270 miles an hour. Pretty quick.
Very quick. Very, very manoeuvrable. A lot more manoeuvrable than you would think. For those left bracket of the 850 calibers.
And amazing, it's still operational in certain air forces in the world until 1979. And actually, when you look at it now, I mean, you can understand why. I mean, it's a plane that first flies in August 1940, but there's a hint of modernity about it, I think. I mean, look at that.
Up to 3,000 pounds of oil.
Australia.
That was a very long trip. We rebuilt the aircraft. Out from California to Hawaii. Overflying Johnson Island.
And a very polished performance, which
quite as polished on the top as it was on the bottom.
Yeah, there you go.
Getting into the afternoon and the jokes get worse.
That's right. That's why it's polished my bottom.
Johnson.
First aeroplane to do battle with compressibility. Just a staggeringly fast aeroplane, and a very, very early design, and made great use of the Allison. Everyone's moaning about the Allison in a Mustang. You got a B-38 that's just absolutely hauling.
Twice the size.
Yeah, that's it. It's a 7-ton aeroplane, and it can outmaneuver a lot of fighters, and certainly outpace them. He's doing a great job. He's the pilot of it. He's doing a great job of showing us what this thing's capable of. I guess when you've flown as many aeroplanes as Eskin has, you can make a great job of pretty much anything.
Compressibility, now that's an interesting thing.
I said it, and I was hoping you wouldn't ask me.
I was going to ask you about it. It's the problem you get when you get a lumpy aircraft. You want to go fast.
Yeah, when you get because you've got islands and there's not airfields everywhere, but you've actually got 2 engines. And that does help when one of them goes quiet.
And those huge drop tanks that they can carry as well.
Yeah. And also, it's a very comfortable, spacious. You can't quite take the wife and kids with you, but you can take whatever else. More than just pants and socks.
The Americans were the first to actually acknowledge you need to make cockpits comfortable for pilots for their best performance.
Spitfire cockpit, you look at a C-Theory cockpit and then you look at the B-38 in a Mustang. And the same thing goes all the way through to today. F-15 cockpit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you stand on top of that tennis court. So this aeroplane actually is it's a P-38L, which would normally have the sort of, not that any P-38 is ugly, but the uglier cowling wing, which is a big deep kind of chin under each engine, where they house the radiators and oil cooler right up the front there behind the propeller to get better airflow through it. When this aeroplane was restored, they got rid of that and put it back to the earlier, more sleek cowling. And I think that was a very good idea, because it does make it look just lovely.
Now, this is something taxiing supposed to be fine. This is a wonderful sight. B-38 actually shot down more Japanese aircraft in the Pacific Theatre than any other fighter type.
Yeah, I understand. It's about 1,800 or something, wasn't it? Like, just staggering. I think almost over 100 pilots becoming aces, which is, I guess it's just that thing of when you've got an aeroplane that is so manoeuvrable and so fast, and then you put a cannon and 4 really good machine guns right on the front of it, just firing straight out the front. If you can get that thing behind anyone, they're toast. You know, you're going to make a mess.
Firepower would be devastating.
That's right.
It's so sad to see the photos at the end of the war in the Philippines with the nose off, engines off, and just stacked vertically.
I know.
Just sad.
Now, I must say, I'm not always a fan of the smoke system on a warbird. I don't always think it's a good thing, but in this case, I will definitely make an exception. It really does look good.
And he just makes it look so effortless.
Absolutely, yeah, you know, doing a great job on the flying, that's for sure. I mean, Eskil, to say he's an experienced pilot in a lot of different types, I think would be doing him a disservice. I think he's flown something like 160 different types, and, you know, everything from this kind of stuff all the way up to the current fast jets. Which is faint-hearted.
So sure that the wing planform that they used was actually enhanced and enlarged and used on the Constellation as well.
Yep. Yeah, Lockheed, I mean, they just make a great aeroplane, don't they? They've got some wacky engineering tactics for how you put it together. I mean, actually restoring a P-38, there was a time when I was going to restore a P-38, and restoring a P-38 is an absolute nightmare.
It's a beautiful sight here, but I think everybody up this end is getting a little bit better of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're in the north, that's how to do it. Like a jet again. Here he comes. Absolutely booking it. You know, it's probably getting up for 400 knots now, I should say. You know, for those not calibrated in knots, by the way, that's 460 miles an hour. You know, so you're well over 400 miles an hour in that pass, which is pretty remarkable, I would say.
I like the old school money.
Just that one time.
Only has to be once for the guy in the MiG.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think is it not? No, there was a Mustang shot down a jet as well, wasn't there? But one of two had a piston shooting down a jet.
He's got that fuel
Germany. The design of the P-51 is Eckerschmidt. Born and raised in Germany.
Absolutely. I agree. So they say that I think you genuinely get bored of pulling the trigger before you run out of ammunition.
And properly quick.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, really came into its own. Highly complicated, but what it enables it to do is generate similar power to what it's generating at sea level at 30,000 feet.
Developing aircraft in the 1930s into the 1940s and beyond, and that kind of rate of...
And I know it's a big investment, but awesome. The smell, the sounds, the feel, the sensations of turning upside down at 350 miles an hour. It's worth every penny. That's amazing.
Great bit of formation flying there.
Nice tight formation there. Great formation work. As you can see, it's a bit bumpy today.
James will know, he knows about these. My Latin teacher would have told me that. The difference there between
the engine ones, as I understand it.
Yes.
So that was what, that was the first thing that was designed, and then goes to the P40C, which is at the back of the formation with the long nose, and the P40F was really, quite a lot later when they essentially tried doing the same as had worked so well with the Mustang by putting a Merlin in the front of it.
And of course they cut down a lot of weight, and they used to call it the Gypsy Rose Lee, burlesque dancer, but they cut the weight down.
A lot of the tight Vic, but actually when you're in defence, the tight Vic is in many ways very practical because it's easier to manoeuvre around the sky and respond when you're close together. Yeah. Harder when you're far apart, which is why the Swan lends itself to see that Vic like that, of those hurricanes.
But if you're just looking at one picture the whole time, if there's a little small,
Why is the swordfish flying out shirt on an helmet? And you actually realise, oh, that's where it was built. That's really rather cool.
Known as string bags, of course.
Yeah.
For fairly obvious reasons, because it's all wire and doped Irish linen and all the rest of it. But has its place in history.
Absolutely. It did a lot.
It certainly did. From Single Bismarck to Taranto, attacking the Italian fleet at harbour in Taranto, November 1940. An early and important fleet air arm victory for the Royal Navy in the Mediterranean.
And these didn't have to be launched from a carrier, did they? They were able to be launched from a smaller ship, as I understand it. Obviously due to the low flying speed.
Yeah.
Which is so important for Navy aeroplanes to be able to be launched from something that doesn't look like a runway. They're getting a lot of performance out of it. It's very manoeuvrable, isn't it?
Well, of course, that was how air-to-air combat took place in the early life of aircraft. It was about manoeuvrability, wasn't it? But by the Second World War, it's become all about height, speed.
It's as big as any of the big fighters that we've seen come past today. The aircraft operated today from Sherburn and Elming, which is actually the airfield just to the south. And same experience with it was very pleasing when they built the Swordfish Mark IV for the Canadians. They put a canopy on it. Because standing up here,
is like the ultimate test of the stomach muscles. And mine at the time was not particularly strong, and I was pretty convinced for the one circuit around London that I was surely going to get blown out of the back. Just prepared to wave goodbye to my mother who was crouched down the front.
Well, I've got to say, if you're saying that,
Yeah, you really
it really was scary.
The primary thing that was scary was I had a strap. Everyone else had a strap to hold on to, and I was just stood there. Powered by the Pegasus engine. Now, I can't think of where else you'll hear a Pegasus engine running in the world. I'm going to say this is probably it. What a lovely sounding race.
Battleships, cruisers, destroyers down in the twin harbours of Taranto, down in the toe of Italy.
Oh yeah, you just wish you were in anything, even 10 minutes faster.
You wish you were in a people.
That's right, you wish you were in people.
Exhibitions and speed and its ability to take punch.
He was an ideas man.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at this.
I must say, John Corley, I've not actually seen this displayed. This is the first time I've seen this displayed. He's doing a lovely job of showing off all the available angles of this aeroplane. He's really excellent.
They are a beautiful machine. It was one that Doug Hamilton had in Australia, and it was actually the headquarters flight aircraft for the 1st Pursuit Group in Michigan, the United States US Army Air Corps, and it was done up as a 5-seater only. Highly polished again. It probably would have put Red Bull to shame, but the wing had a headquarters aircraft and 3 squadrons, and each of the squadrons also had one. Yeah, it was a hack.
I mean, it's a great. I mean, this particular aeroplane configured internally, obviously, pilot, co-pilot, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 passenger seats in there. So it's quite a big cabin,
Yeah.
and they're very comfortable seats. I mean, it's quite sleek, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
The view out from the cockpit is not the finest, I think. I could say.
No, it's like looking out of a letterbox.
It really is. You can see the windscreen there. Very, it's very, very small indeed.
We did a very close-up and personal examination. The underside of a T6 was one. Very close.
Yeah. Who's done it? So you'd like to think of it. Look at that Part 5. It looks great with no wingtips.
Yes.
It really. It's always been operated by the fighter collection with no wingtips, other than when it was briefly used for the filming of Pearl Harbor, way back in the day, where they did put some wingtips on it and dressed it as an equal squadron aeroplane. But it wouldn't be the same with wingtips on. It's just pure racer, isn't it? It really is. Yeah. Certainly keeping this well within inside the airport now, but look at that, that's just lovely.
Because we're on the northern side. See the radio there, clearly doing wide open.
Anything to slow down. Yeah, still lovely. look out to your left, you can just see the front section there, just dragging in that last gick of the front section. Just about to get it all together. Really nice actually, normally you don't get to see it get built.
Because like that, way on the other side of the
It's really
engine.
nice to sort of see it all come together like this.
What's also going to be a catch-up pass? 11 aircraft in there? Not so bad.
Let's have a listen to this.
Endless energy in that Mark V Spitfire.
So that's what you want to see, isn't it, in a display in an aircraft like that? Because they were designed to be flown like that.
Definitely.
They're not designed to be flown like an aerobatics aircraft. No, that's fighting to it. That is definitely fighting.
So Red Bull D38, just on the right hand tail to land on the main runway here, swiftly followed by the B-25. And I think we're going to get another pass in the back. So rear section breaking off to the south. They're going to come through and land first. Front section heading off to the north.